I need to take boxing lessons from Draymond Green because I'm in a sub-battle right now with Knicks Now and my guy Marshall Green. Look, the Celtics, we're a little bit behind Celtics today. We cannot be losing to the Knicks in anything. Basketball, sub-battles, you name it. Go down, subscribe to the channel if you're all about the Boston Celtics. I am Will Scott. Welcome in to Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Going to talk about some trade rumors and some news on today's show. And speaking of Draymond Green, because just name dropped him in the open there, we're going to talk about the possibility of the Celtics trading for Draymond Green because he has been in trade rumors after knocking out his own teammate, Jordan Poole, at practice last week. Now, we got that report from Woj, I think, the day after it happened, and then the video went viral after it was leaked to TMZ. I think it got over 50 million views on Twitter. Absolutely wild. So he stepped away from the Warriors for the time being. However, he hasn't been suspended yet, which, quite frankly, is an absolute joke. Kim Kamakami said this about the Draymond Green trade rumors. He covers the Golden State Warriors for The Athletic because, Green has been in trade rumors after this punch. If Poole doesn't sign an extension, he could be halfway out the door, and the Warriors will be scrambling to find a replacement. If he does sign, that likely will push someone else out next July, and Draymond just circled himself as the leading candidate for an exit. And if Draymond knows he could be headed out, he might push the pedal down and ask for a quicker departure, maybe relatively soon. I think after the punch, the same Warriors executives who have loved, praised, and indulged him all these years will be very much less disturbed about the idea of trading Draymond. So Tim Kamakami, who has been really the number one Warriors reporter for years, kind of speculating that Draymond could be out the door. And a lot of people think the Lakers are a potential fit for Draymond Green. Other teams linked include the Mavericks, the Pistons, the Nets. There's a few folks out there that are saying maybe the Celtics could be a fit as well. I don't know how much sense that makes after signing Blake Griffin. Yes, you did need some depth at the four. Draymond plays that position, but now you've signed Griffin. So I don't know how much sense that makes, but when you are talking about the Celtics as a potential fit, that's probably because of what Draymond brings to the table defensively. The Celtics love to pride themselves on their defense. They have Robert Williams III. They have Marcus Smart, the Defensive Player of the Year. Draymond, one of the better defenders in basketball, has been that for the last decade or so. The Celtics, a potential team to watch for here when you're talking about a Draymond Green trade. I don't think Draymond's going to get traded, but it'll certainly be interesting to follow this leading up to the season. Do you want to trade for Draymond Green? Let me just put a scenario on the table where Brad Stevens has the possibility to pick up the phone, call Bob Myers over there in the Bay, and try to make this happen. Type T for trade or type P for pass. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So when ad break comes, go down, chime in. You want to trade for Draymond Green? Absolutely not. I do not want to trade for Draymond Green. This guy is an absolute clown. I do not want him within 50 miles of this Celtics locker room. Absolutely not, especially when you consider how good the team chemistry on the Celtics is right now, even with the Ime Udoka distraction, if you will. I mean, the Celtics team chemistry is probably some of the best in the league. I do not want a guy like Draymond Green in my locker room, even though he did put up decent numbers last year in Golden State. Now, the scoring production has gone down a bit. In fact, it's been since 2018. 2018 was the last season that he averaged double-digit points, nearly 8 points per game, 7.6 rebounds per game, 7.4 assists per game, 1.4 steals per game for Draymond Green in Golden State last season. When you're talking about a potential trade, I don't think it's likely for a few reasons. One of those reasons is I don't really think he'd have a lot of interest. He's set to make over $25 million this year. He's very overpaid, in my opinion. I just don't think a lot of teams would have interest, not just because of the contract, but because of the punch and because of the distraction and because I don't think he'd be a good fit in a locker room right now, and I don't think he'd be a good fit outside of Golden State. Yeah, he's putting up decent numbers with the Warriors. If he goes elsewhere, I don't know if we'd see that same production. So he has 2 years left on his deal. However, he's got a player option at the end of this season, so he can opt out of this deal. And in the weeks leading up to the punch, he was saying that he wanted a max extension. He's such a joke. A max extension from Golden State. He's not worth anything close to that, and he's definitely not going to get that after this punch. So we'll continue to monitor these trade rumors. Any big-name player that's connected to the Celtics I'm going to talk about in terms of a trade. But Draymond Green has stepped away from the Golden State Warriors for the time being. When he's going to return, that's a big unknown. But this guy's got to get suspended. And I understand that Adam Silver really can't do much here. This is a team decision. But you have to have a serious conversation if you're Adam Silver about potentially stepping in here. And the reason for that is not just because of the punch, but Draymond Green's history. The guy's taken plenty of cheap shots. When you're like, if I was an opposing player playing Golden State, if I was Jason Tatum going up against this guy, I'd be worried about him kicking me and doing all this wild stuff. I mean, the guy's a joke. He's been for a long time. I don't want him anywhere close to this Celtics locker room. Yeah, I get it. He's still a decent player. He's a great defender. I don't want him in that locker room. I do want this guy, though, JT, in the locker room. Go support our guy, Jason Tatum. Chatsports.com/Tatum. That's the link right there. Go and pick it up. On sale for limited time. Believe it or not, guys, the season is 1 week away. I am so pumped. Get your Celtics jersey, Jason Tatum jersey, before the start of the season. Chatsports.com/Tatum. Let's talk about Grant Williams now and the possibility of an extension because it's very possible that an extension might happen before the start of the season even. So he's got 1 year remaining on his rookie deal. He's certainly been in the extension rumor conversation. Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, who's very well connected with the Celtics specifically, spoke with 4 different NBA executives, and they project that Williams is worth $12 to $13 million per year. And I tend to agree with that number. Here's Michael Scotto said in an article recently posted to Hoops Hype. One executive told me for an extension now, he's probably in the $12 to $14 million territory. I think $15 million is not out of the question, but definitely on the high end. And it means they'd think he's going to be a starter. And I don't disagree with that because Al Horford probably has 1 year left. I'm told Williams is now at 265. In the playoffs, he was closer to 280. He's certainly putting himself in position for a big contract season coming up. My sense is if he's in the $12 to $13 million range annually, they've got to think about it. I think $15 million would get it done, but I don't know if the Celtics are willing to necessarily go that high. So Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype talking about a Grant Williams extension. Again, he talked to several executives around the league that believe he's worth about $12 to $13 million. Here's what he did last season in his third NBA season. 7.8 points per game, 3.6 rebounds per game, 47.5% field goal percentage. And then we saw an increased role in terms of minutes, nearly 25 minutes per game last season for our guy, Grant Williams. So those executives think Williams is worth $12 to $13 million. How much do you think he's worth per year? How much are you willing to pay him? I would say around that number. I don't know if I'd go north of 15. 15 is the absolute highest I would go, but that's a very good point that Michael Scotto and the executives interviewed in that article brought up, that he's eventually going to be a starter, right? Right now, he's kind of more of a role player, but when Al Horford either retires or leaves the Celtics, Grant Williams is going to be the starting four for the Celtics going forward. Also want to hit on this news. Jared Weiss reported this yesterday. The Celtics are waiving Luka Samanic. Sources tell The Athletic NBA. He covers the Celtics for The Athletic. Samanic is expected to join the main Celtics in the G League. So the Celtics signed Samanic on September 22nd. In terms of him making the roster, we did not think the chances were very good of that. But he's going to Maine. I'm excited to see what he can do in Maine. Meanwhile, we have this from Adam Zagoria. Former Providence Friars men's basketball guard A.J. Reeves has signed an Exhibit 10 with the Boston Celtics per league sources. So I know a lot of you Celtics fans might be Providence fans as well, vice versa. Here is what he did at Providence for the Friars last season. Nearly 10 points per game, 2.8 rebounds per game, 2.2 assists per game, 36.9% from the floor. And we just happen to have a producer on today's show that is friends with A.J. Reeves. He's giving me the kind of you said the guy.
So funny story for Celtics fans. Actually, when I met him was when he was at Providence when my friends went there. And I met him and we were talking. I was wearing this T-shirt that I'm wearing
show
right
T-shirt.
now.
Show it.
Yeah,
Pull up.
it's the Scary Terry Celtics
Scary
fan.
Terry. I need one of those, man.
He was wearing this exact same shirt, but in sweatshirt form. So he's a Celtics fan. I've seen him play at Providence. He's got an absolute flamethrower. He can really get it done. He could be a sneaky good signing.
Yeah. What else can you tell us about him in terms of just how he is?
Talking about he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Every time I've talked to him, he's just well spoken. But also, if he sees a couple threes go in, he's gonna hit the next three. He's one of those like catch fire type of shooters. It's pretty impressive what he did at his 4 years in Providence. Like Will said, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably watched him play at Providence. Pretty cool that you're signing somebody who is a Celtics fan too.
It's so funny because producer Sheep was looking over our show script. He came over to me. He's like, "Or why are you talking about AJ Reeves?
Yeah.
I know the guy." He's like, "They just signed him." So AJ
Pretty
Reeves,
wild.
the newest member of the Boston Celtics. So we might have to get an AJ Reeves jersey, Steve.
Yeah.
And might have to get him on the show. We'll see.
Think about that.
He's going to be starting with the Maine Celtics. Go down, grade the signing. Type A, B, C, D, or F. Again, this is an Exhibit 10 deal. He's going to start with the Maine Celtics, and if he plays well in Maine, perhaps he'll get an opportunity to join the NBA roster. Pretty solid pickup, I think. Like Seep said, the guy can shoot the lights out of the ball once he gets hot from three-point range. Go down, subscribe to the channel, getting you guys a couple more videos this week, youtube.com/CelticsTV. Again, the season just a week away. We have a lot to talk about here leading up to the start of the regular season.